1. That's how many assists Bradley Barcola registered in Ligue 1 last season. 11 goals, 1 assist, 1,750 minutes. Liverpool want to sign him. PSG wants somewhere around £145 million. It would be, or be near, a Premier League record. Now, that number on its own is a cheap gotcha, and I'm not going to pretend it settles anything. Assists are a noisy statistic. 1 assist can mean your teammates missed chances, or that your role changed, or nothing at all. But it points at the real question, which isn't the one everyone's asking. Everyone's asking whether Barcola can replace Mohamed Salah. He can't. Not because he isn't good enough, because he plays on the other side of the pitch. So here's what this video actually is. What Barcola is, what Liverpool lost, and whether those two things are the same shape. Let's go. Start with the profile, because a lot of what's circulating about him is wrong. Bradley Barcola, 23, born in Lyon, came through Lyon's academy, joined PSG in 2023 for around £40 million. Contract runs to 2028. He is 1.82 m, 6 foot exactly, and around 73 kilos. I'm laboring that because you'll have seen him described as 6'2" and physically imposing. One database lists him at 6'2". Almost every other source has him at 1.82, which is 6 foot, and 73 kilos is genuinely light for a Premier League winger. So the version of this transfer, where Barcola bullies English fullbacks, where you have to outmuscle him and outrun him, isn't real. He's lean. Descriptions of his game reach for words like languid. What he actually is, a right-footed left winger who carries the ball forward at volume. Analytics profiles rate his progressive carrying strongly. He takes possession and drives with it, stretching defensive lines rather than combining in tight spaces. And the recurring criticism, which matters later, he can rush his decision-making at the crucial moment, gets there, then picks wrong. If you like transfers analyzed with the numbers rather than the vibes, subscribe. It's free. Now the framing problem, because this is where the entire debate is being had badly. Liverpool are in the market for an elite winger because Mohamed Salah left at the end of last season. Salah was a left-footed right winger. He received the ball on the right touchline, came inside onto his stronger foot, and shot. Barcola is a right-footed left winger. He receives on the left touchline, comes inside onto his stronger foot, and shoots. They are mirror images, same function, opposite flank. Which sounds like a technicality, and absolutely is not. A team's shape isn't symmetrical. Your fullbacks, your midfield rotations, which centre-back steps out, which side you overload. All of it is built around who occupies which flank. You cannot swap a right-sided inverted winger for a left-sided one and call it replacing him. Jamie Carragher made this exact point publicly, his view being that Liverpool's need is on the right, and Barcola doesn't fill it. So one of two things has to be true. Either Liverpool are signing an elite left winger and solving the Salah problem separately, a second signing, or a positional restructure. Or they're planning to play Barcola on the right, off his stronger foot, in a role he has not primarily played. Neither of those is replacing Salah, and nobody arguing about this on your timeline has said which one they mean. Back to that number, because now it means something. 11 goals, 1 assist, in 1,750 Ligue 1 minutes. Analytics write-ups of his season read it as a deliberate shift. Assists down, goal involvement up, a player leaning into finishing rather than creating. And that's a completely legitimate way to be a winger. Salah scored. Plenty of elite wide players are finishers first, but it changes what Liverpool would be buying. A carrier who scores is a different asset from a carrier who creates. If the plan is for Barcola to be the outlet who arrives at the byline and cuts it back, one Ligue 1 assist is a real question about whether that's what he does. I should be fair about the caveat. Across all competitions last season, the reported line is 13 goals and 7 assists in 49 appearances, so most of the creative output came outside the league. I'd want to see that reconciled before anyone treats 1 assist as the final word, and so should you. What isn't in doubt is the shape of it. He carries, he stretches, he finishes. He is not, on this evidence, primarily a chance creator. Here's the part the transfer coverage keeps skipping, and it's the most useful thing to know. PSG just won back-to-back Champions Leagues. Barcola was part of both squads, and he has indicated he will not sign a new contract, with reporting pointing to frustration over a lack of game time in the biggest matches. In the treble season, when the games got large, Luis Enrique tended toward Kavica Kvaratskhelia and Desiree Doué. Add Ousmane Dembélé, and Barcola was the fourth option in a forward line that won everything. That's the honest read, and it cuts both ways. Against him, a manager who has won 2 European Cups looked at Barcola in the matches that decided them and picked someone else. That's not nothing. Coaches at that level are not casually leaving a £145 million asset out of finals. For him, he's 23, at a club with arguably the deepest attacking squad in Europe, and being fourth choice there is not the same as being fourth choice anywhere else. Plenty of players have left exactly this situation and become the focal point somewhere with less competition, which is precisely what a move to Liverpool would be. Less rotation, more minutes, a bigger share of the ball. Now the number that decides whether any of this is smart. PSG bought him from Lyon in 2023 for around £40 million. They are reported to want 145. That is a 3.5-fold return in 3 years, on a player who was fourth choice in the games that mattered. Liverpool are reported to be working towards something nearer 100 million. ESPN put the valuation around 128.5 million. Sky and others have reported the 145 million ask. So 3 outlets, 3 numbers, and a gap between the clubs that hasn't closed. To card one, because nobody outside the negotiation knows. What I will say is what the range means. At 100 million, for a 23-year-old with 2 European Cups and elite carrying numbers, that's an aggressive but defensible price in this market. At 145, Liverpool would be paying a Premier League record for a player who was his own manager's fourth choice, to solve a problem on the opposite wing to the one he plays. Those are very different transfers. Same player. So, the strongest case for signing him, made properly. He's 23. Everything above is a snapshot of a player who hasn't finished developing. Judging a forward's creative output at 23 as though it's fixed is how clubs miss. The environment suppressed him. Fourth in a forward line containing a Ballon d'Or contender is not a fair test. Minutes fragment, roles narrow, and you get judged on cameos. The carrying is real, and it's rare. Progressive ball carrying at his volume is a genuinely scarce skill, and it's the exact skill a transition team needs. Irola's football wants someone who can take the ball and go. Barcola can, and he has the medals. 2 Champions Leagues by 23 from the squad is not nothing regardless of who started the finals. That's a real case, and if you think 100 million is obviously mad, you need an answer to it. Mine is narrower. The signing isn't wrong. The framing is. If Liverpool sign Barcola believing they've replaced Salah, they've solved the wrong problem on the wrong flank. If they sign him knowing he's a left-sided carrier and they still need a right-sided finisher, it might be excellent business. If this is how you want transfers covered, the numbers, the caveats, and the bit everyone else skipped, subscribe and turn on notifications. So pick a side, and pick the version that's actually in dispute. Not, is Barcola good? He's good. Is a right-footed left winger, with 11 league goals and 1 league assist, worth a Premier League record fee, to a club whose hole is on the right? If you think yes, that he's 23, that the PSG bench flattened his numbers, that the carrying translates, make that case. If you think Liverpool are paying a record price to fill a gap it doesn't fill, make that one. And a second one, for the PSG side of it. Luis Enrique won 2 European Cups picking other people ahead of him. Is that a manager who saw something, or a player who never got the run? Comments below. Best arguments get pinned. Subscribe to Pitchside FC. Turn on notifications. Pitchside FC. Pick a side.